They say some doors are never meant to be unlocked, and if you ever find yourself inside the library that never closed, don't open a book, because once you do, you'll never leave. Michael was a college student, drowning in deadlines and desperate for a quiet place to study. One night, while wandering through the oldest part of town, he noticed a building wedged between two shops. It shouldn't have been there. He passed this street almost every day, yet somehow he had never seen it before. The windows glowed faintly with golden light. And above the door, an old wooden sign read, "Open 24 hours." It was nearly midnight. Every other library in the city was long closed, but this one was waiting for him. Michael pushed the heavy wooden doors open. They groaned like they hadn't been moved in years. Inside, the air smelled of dust, ink, and candle wax. The silence was heavy, like the building itself was holding its breath. Row after row of bookshelves stretched into the darkness. They towered above him, impossibly tall, filled with countless books. More books than any library could possibly hold, Michael called out. No one answered. No librarian, no students, only silence. The floorboards creaked as he stepped inside. Shadows danced in the corners. For a moment he thought he saw movement, a figure standing at the far end of an aisle. But when he looked again, it was gone. He wandered deeper. The shelves seemed to stretch farther and farther, twisting and narrowing like a maze. The deeper he went, the more he realized. This library was much larger inside than it looked from the street. On a table in the center of the aisle lay an open journal. Its pages were filled with cramped handwriting. The ink looked fresh. Michael leaned closer. The words chilled him. They weren't study notes. They were names, dates, each page recording a person who had entered this library. And next to every name, the same word was written. Missing. Michael's stomach turned. At the bottom of the last page was a half-finished line. It read, "It's behind me now." A sound echoed through the shelves. A chair creaked. Then another. Like someone rising to their feet, Michael's flashlight flickered. He turned slowly. Between the shelves, a figure stood. Its skin was pale and cracked like old parchment. Its lips were sewn shut with black thread. Hollow eyes stared back at him. The journal slipped from his hands. The books began to whisper. Pages rustled on their own. Covers slammed shut. 1,000 voices murmured at once, overlapping, impossible to understand. Michael stumbled backward. He looked for the entrance. But the doorway was gone. The shelves had shifted, closing him in. The whispers grew louder. Words began to form. He could hear them now. Read with us. Stay with us. Books tumbled off the shelves. Pages tore themselves free, circling him like a storm. Every title seemed to call his name. He ran down the aisle, but every corner led to another aisle, another hallway, another endless row of shelves. The deeper he went, the darker it became. His flashlight died. He was left in near darkness, the only light coming from flickering candles placed on the shelves. At the end of the corridor, a book lay open on a stand. Its cover was made of cracked leather. On it, words had been scratched deep into the surface. It read, "The Next Name." Michael's hands trembled as he reached for it. The pages were blank, completely empty. Then, slowly, words began to burn themselves into the page, letter by letter. His name, Michael. A cold wind swept through the library. The candles blew out. In the blackness, the whispers returned. This time, they weren't distant. They were right behind him, breathing against his neck. He ran again, desperate, terrified, clawing at every shelf for a way out. But every direction stretched endlessly. The books never ended. His screams were drowned by the voices. They spoke in unison now. Every reader belongs to the library. The last thing Michael felt was hands, pale and cold, pulling him into the shelves. And then, silence. The next morning, the building was gone. The shops stood side by side again, as if nothing had ever been there. But in the city records, one new name was added to the list of the missing. Michael. So if you're walking through the city at night and you see a library glowing faintly with golden light, keep walking. Don't open the door, because if you step inside, you'll never step out.